what's your position in what's been going on right now with Russia and Ukraine?
I think probably should start off here, Rick, by saying it's probably the biggest disinformation campaign that we've ever seen. Like if
Beyond
you're
COVID?
well, there it is. I mean, is COVID the start? Is that where we're at now? I mean, because I can get all technical about our government and the problems that Boris Johnson had, for example, and how this does alleviate a lot of those. Let's be honest. I mean, he did quite well out of COVID. To be fair, with what he did, we're one of the countries with the more minimum lockdown constraints. I think we're talking to a Canadian here and we're looking at the whole of what was probably one of the most liberal sort of Western democracies become the most tyrannical, I think, alongside maybe New Zealand and Australia and things like this. So that's an interesting one. But when you start trying to find out what the facts are and you're going through social media channels or even mainstream news channels, I don't know how you can ever choose unless you go through something like Bellingcat, which tries to identify locations and things like that. How do you even know where the disinformation is coming from or what kind of angle some of these guys are coming from? I can't even work it out myself. I struggle with it. That's the thing.
What do you see right now as far as the sources of the disinformation? Because I mean, you open with that as like the big point. So what are you seeing, based on your experience?
Well, I think you could take this information from like literally every side. It's not even overt disinformation. It's not even like the Maskarovka we see or whatever it might be, or the hybrid warfare that Russia has been implementing for so many years and that we're so familiar with. It's even when you get maybe say the president of Ukraine maybe standing up and saying whatever he's saying and putting an emphasis on it, and of course that appears on the front page of a newspaper, and there's there's little kids there, there's women, there's children, everything else. You just got to say, where's the imbalance? Where is the balance? Is it an imbalance? Where is it? Are we seeing anything that is fair or justified? And I just want to say, by the way, that there's no way I'm saying this invasion was in any way acceptable to anyone. I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But there's probably reasons why it happened, and we can get into that later. So I'm really struggling between trying to find out what is right by using mainstream news sources, and then going back into something like Twitter or anything like that, or any online source really, and trying to work out where they've got better angles on it. You know how you kind of know the journalists that you trust, and then those journalists we saw it with COVID, didn't we? Those journalists become kind of all in on one side, but they're not saying they're all in. They're trying to make out the balance, but they're kind of going all in and all in again. And you think, well, now who do I now kind of turn to? And I must admit, to be fair, I'm a little bit lost about the whole thing, and I've been covering it like you. So,
So I look at it like, you have to look at motivations, because there's the time of unbiased sources is gone. And so I have to look at it from a standpoint of, all right, what is the motivation of each different party? And then when a news source comes out, where are they getting that information from? And how are they cherry picking that information to fit that narrative? Yeah. And then from there, that's a starting point, at least, of figuring out what's kind of true, what's not. And then trying to find raw sources as well. So like now for me, I have a benefit of knowing different people in different areas of government. I'm kind of out of it now, right? I'm just an infantry guy in the National Guard now, but I've been on special operations tiers, and I've been on several deployments, and I know people in government positions right now. I know people in the Pentagon now. I can't disclose a lot of that stuff, and anything they might disclose to me, they're limited in what they can even say on certain things, but I'll get different information from those sources, video clips that people put on different, like, was it something 360? Like there's different sites where they'll allow you to put uncensored clips of what's going on in the battlefield, different things like that. Mm-hmm. And so you just kind of have to vet through it a bit from that. But knowing though, like if I'm watching something that's pro-NATO, pro-Ukraine, it's going to be spun to fit a narrative. Now, that doesn't mean it's not true, but maybe it's elevated, or maybe it's, exaggerated, right? The information. Great example. What was that island where there was 13 guys that said, F you, and then they were killed, and
they weren't,
and all this, but they weren't killed, right? Yeah. Exactly. They're captured, and so that's a huge, like, oh, this hero story. Now, why would they do that? Well, because they need to. They're one of the biggest assets that they need in Ukraine is people to fight, right? I mean, so they need a lot of things. They need ammo, they need money, they need weaponry, but they need people to stick around and want to stick it out and fight. And so they have to ignite these people to do that, rather than get complacent and give up against a much larger military force. And that's how they're going to do it. You know, they're going to
Mm-hmm.
have those hero stories to, you know, get them motivated to get out there and keep fighting. And that's why, you know, it's a big reason for that. And then Russia has their own campaign that they're running so that so Putin can still have the support from his people, at least enough to not get, you know, murdered somehow, or, you know, have revolts in the streets in Russia. He has to exhibit control over people, and he does it through his own disinformation thing and by force too. It's kind of both.
Hey guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that short clip. If you did, consider supporting the creation of content by checking out my supplement line. Pinned in the top comment below of this video in the comments, there's a link to the unpluggedalpha.com/shop. When you click through, you'll be able to land over here, and the entire lineup is broken down by category that it performs best in: estrogen metabolism, fat burning, your foundational essentials for health, immune health, performance, and testosterone support. If you check out with coupon code ALPHA10, you'll get 10% off on your first order. There's also the option to use the subscribe and save model, where regular shipments will be sent over to you on a regular basis, and that gives you a little bit of a discount, and your supplement facts are always broken down over here. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have an awesome day. And again, check out that link. It's pinned in the top comment below in this video. Peace out.